Hi, this is Astro and thank you for tuning into my channel. As usual, I keep promising that I'll come up with more tutorial videos in astrology, and I'm again here today with a new tutorial in astrology. Before proceeding, let me thank all the audience who have given me fantastic comments, both on the YouTube channel and also in my Facebook Messenger. I would request those who have personally messaged me to drop those messages out here in the comment box so that more and more people can have a look into what kind of feedbacks am I getting, right? So today I have a very interesting topic to talk about, and I would be starting a series on the planets in astrology, right? The 9 planets mainly, the Vedic astrology. In Vedic astrology, we believe 9 planets are very important, of which I would start today with the planet Sun, right? So, most knowledge is available in the textbook. For instance, Sun represents the father in a natal chart. It also represents the government in a natal chart. It represents the authority, power in a natal chart. It also talks about, in medical astrology, it talks about your heart, it talks about your head, it also talks about your eyes, and it also talks about your ego in general, your royal appearance in general, right? Your personality, your characteristics, your authoritative behavior in general. So there are several things which is represented by Sun in a natal chart, right? Therefore, Sun is a very important planet in astrology, right? In fact, as we all know, in the solar system, all the planets revolve around the Sun. Okay, it is not Sun which revolves around the remaining planets. So it is also explained in the text that without Sun nothing can survive. It has been scientifically proven that people can survive without food, but not without sunlight. So that is a great importance of sunlight, which is or Sun as a planet, which is associated in astrology, also in general in the astronomical science, right? So I'll talk a little more about the importance of Sun, but prior to that, in this series I would be talking about the exaltation point and the debilitation point of planet based on nakshatras. This is one reason why I keep saying that exaltation and debilitation is actually meaningless until otherwise the respective planet gets into a respective pada of a nakshatra. For example, in this case, Sun turns exalted in the 3rd pada of Ashwini nakshatra. So for all those people who believe that Sun turns exalted the moment it enters Aries zodiac sign, it is not technically correct. It has to reach a certain point, of which the 3rd pada of Ashwini nakshatra is very important. That is where actually Sun turns exalted. Similarly, when we talk about debilitation, it turns debilitated in the nakshatra of Swati, and that too the 1st pada. It doesn't turn debilitated in the whole of Libra sign. That's the reason I always attach importance to nakshatras. Most astrologers do not give importance to nakshatras, largely because they don't know what is nakshatras all about. But in my theory, whatever I learn or whatever I teach or whatever research that I do, I always try to associate them with the nakshatras, right? So this is where the exaltation and the debilitation of Sun happens in the respective nakshatras, right? Again, from a gemstone point of view, ruby is a gemstone that represents Sun. Okay, there are other also which is available in the market, but I believe strongly ruby is the gemstone that represents Sun, right? And as per the deity is concerned for Sun, we consider Lord Shiva to be the deity of Sun. So if you're running a Surya Dasha or a Sun Dasha, please make it a point to offer your prayers to Lord Shiva. Shiva is a planet who gets easily pleased if you're into Sun Dasha. So Sun is a very important planet. Its Dasha is also equally important. It takes 6 years for a Sun Dasha to get completed. So if you're running a Sun Dasha right now, the entire span of Sun Dasha will be 6 years. It is the smallest Dasha in the entire Dasha system, right? But a very important Dasha in the entire Dasha system, right? Now, as usual, I always believe that mere planets or mere houses are irrelevant. See, planets cannot give its result until otherwise they get associated with the respective house. Okay, here too I am going to associate Sun with all the 12 houses and give you general understanding. This is not the detailed understanding, this is a general understanding about what would be the effects when Sun gets connected with all the 12 respective houses, right? So let's see what happens when Sun gets connected with the first house, right? First house is the Tanu Baba, it is about yourself, right? So whenever Sun gets connected with the first house, the person is likely to have a royal appearance. You know, he carries that ego, he carries that that aura, you know, what Sun carries, right? His complexion could be slightly palish, but you know, I would say I don't give much importance to the complexion because that is not something which can be taken into account, right? However, you know, whenever Sun gets connected with the first house, it also gives you a detailed you know, ability to be judgmental about people. You know how to judge people accurately. This is a quality what happens when Sun gets connected with the first house. Okay. Now, also when Sun gets connected with the first house, I have seen people having low hair growth. You know, the hair growth is usually low. Sometimes they are also bald headed. So this is what happens when Sun gets connected with the first house, right? Now let's see what happens when Sun gets connected with the second house. See, second house Sun means a person will be truthful. In fact, even in the first house, the person is truthful, but the second house, you can actually see the person will be truthful. Why? Because the person will not be, you know, judgment. I mean, he will not be manipulative in his words, right? So this is the beauty of having Sun in the second house, or Sun getting connected with the second house. Also, it's a very good placement for monetary gains because the second house is the house of earth. Earth in in Sanskrit means economics, right? So normally when Sun gets connected with the second house, a person is likely to have good flow of income. Okay, I have also seen people having addiction when Sun gets connected with the second house, because Sun also stands for heat, and so smoking is a habit which normally people do have. Okay, as I said before, they are very truthful, so they never lie. You know, they stand for what they have, and they have a very hard voice, a very masculine kind of a voice. Okay, even women, when they have Sun getting connected in the second house, they will have a very masculine kind of a voice. So very good combination to have Sun getting connected with the second house. Now let's see what happens when Sun gets connected with the third house. Okay, there again, third house stands for communication, so the person is very truthful. The person will never be manipulative, right? At the same time, they are likely to have a younger sibling, that too a male younger sibling. So you are likely to have a younger brother, right? Also, you know, the inclination of the person will be very strong. See, third house stands for inclination, and Sun is a very powerful planet to give you a very good inclination. So connection of you know, Sun with the third house is actually very good, right? You also have a royal surrounding. You know, I have seen people having third house connection with Sun. The neighbors are very well to do, or you live in a very palatial vicinity. You know, your people are well to do of. Okay, or you live with people who have high position in the government or high position in the corporate world, so on and so forth. So this is a good connection when you have Sun getting connected in the third house. Again, when Sun gets connected in the third house, traveling to the east direction is the most beneficial, right? So these are some of the benefits that you have when Sun gets connected with the third house. Now let's see what happens when Sun gets connected with the fourth house. See, when Sun gets connected with the fourth house, you know, normally they have the fourth house stands for mother. We all know that. So fourth house stands for mother, it stands for vehicle, it stands for property. Okay. So if I take only the connection of third house, I mean Sun with fourth house, okay, you have a good connection with your mother. Your mother comes from a very good background, a very well-to-do background. Okay. At the same time, you have a very good surrounding. You know, fourth house stands for your house, right? So you live in a good house with all kind of facilities. Okay. Mostly your house will be east direction faced, because the direction of Sun is east, right? And I have seen people having, you know, there will be good sunlight when fourth house gets connected with sun. Why? Because the vastu of the house is very good, and one of the important condition in vastu is you should have very decent sunlight, or in fact very good sunlight. Okay, but in that process the environment tends to heat up, so there will be too much of heat in the surroundings. Okay, but yes, as I said, they lead a luxurious life, so they cannot live without an AC, right? Like for example, I have sun getting connected in the fourth house, so my house is actually east facing. So from a vastu point of view, it's a very good connection coming up, right? Now what happens? Let's see. When again, what happens when you invest in any kind of a property? Your property will be or any kind of an valuable that you will possess. Okay, even buying a car, it will be an expensive car, or it will be an expensive property, because sun stands for royal, right? So these are some of the qualities that gets connected when sun is signifying the fourth house. Now let's see what happens when sun gets connected with the fifth house. So this is purely out of my experience. I've seen whenever sun gets connected with the fifth house, they normally have a male issue. They have a male child. They may have more than one child, of which one of them is likely to be a male child, a very brilliant male child. They are likely to be very brilliant, very intelligent, very royal. They are likely to bring, all kind of prosperity and happiness to the family. Okay, how does it get connected? Please do not go through the standard theory that sun should get placed in the fourth house. No. Sorry, sun should get placed in the fifth house. No, sun should signify the fifth house. I'm going to do a separate video on signification, but for the time being, just understand, whenever sun signifies the fifth house, like for example, in my case, sun signifies sun is placed in the fourth house, but it also signifies the fifth house. So I have a male child. Okay, and normally what happens, there is a betterment in your life once a male child comes into picture. That is, after the delivery of the male child, the time is supposed to improve. So fifth house getting connected with sun is a very good combination. That too, once you have a male child, then your prosperity improves thereafter, or your life standard improves thereafter. Again, people are very fun loving. You have all the supports coming up from the government. See, fifth house means enjoyment, ease in life in general. So whenever your sun stands for government entity, so if it gets connected with the fifth house, you have all the benefits from the government entities coming in your way, right? Let's see what happens when sun gets connected with the sixth house. See, normally sixth house, as I say, sixth house is the house of rogue, it's the house of, what do I say, it's a house of ailments, right? Sun stands for medicine too, so normally what happens, whenever you are a medical practitioner, a doctor, okay, or a student of anything to do with medicine, even pharmacy, okay, a student of science in general, should have sun getting connected with the sixth house. Otherwise, you will never pursue science as a subject. So all those people who are engineers, all those people who are not engineers largely, but largely coming up from a medical background, somebody who has done their B.Pharm, somebody who has done their MBBS or any kind of medical training, they will have a connection with sun in the sixth house. Otherwise, you cannot pursue that science, right? I've sometimes seen when sixth house gets connected with sun, or sun gets getting connected with the sixth house, they have some trouble with the government. I had somebody who had come down, who was running Surya Dasha, and sun was signifying the sixth house, and he had an income tax issue. So he asked me, should I plead against or should I challenge whatever has been alleged against me, or should I go for a settlement with the income tax? I said, you better go for a settlement with the income tax, because that is not going to, that problem is going to get resolved once for all. Okay, rather than taking it as a dispute and challenging in the court and going forward. Okay, the person did so, and he stood to benefit out of it, right? So some of these benefits or problems are seen when sixth house gets connected with sun, or sun getting connected with the sixth house. Now let's see what happens when sun gets connected with the seventh house. A very good combination. I've seen whenever sun gets connected with the seventh house, your spouse is a very lucky person in your life. They come from a very royal background. They come from a background which is fully accomplished in all possible manner, be it academics, be it wealth, be it knowledge, whatever. So sun getting connected with seventh house is a very good combination. Okay, if you're a female and if you have sun gets connected with the seventh house, your husband is likely to have low hair, or probably sometimes even bald head, you know. So these are some of the combinations that we see when Sun gets connected with the 7th house. Now comes the 8th house connection with Sun. Okay. See, 8th house is a very bad house in general. Okay, except for few combination, 8th house in general is not very good. Sun getting connected with the 8th house will bring all problems that you can expect. What all the positives what the Sun is supposed to give, it might get converted into negatives. It's not, it might, it gets connected with the negative, it gets connected negative, but the negativity can vary from person to person. One common problem is there will be definite disputes with the government. I've seen several people who are being charged, a criminal charge is filed against them, or the government is filing a case, or whatever it is, it becomes a criminal case because the government becomes the prosecutor and you become the defender. I've seen several cases which happens. Now that does not mean everybody having Sun getting connected with the 8th house will have a criminal case, no, but these are some of the observation that we have. Okay, benefits from the government is as good as zero. I know somebody who came to me with some kind of a government grant. He was supposed to get a government grant. He did not get. And I said it's going to be very difficult. He was running Sun Antardasha and he was expecting a grant from the government. It did not work out. The entire Antardasha of Sun, it did not work out. So 8th house combination is not good in general. That too, if Sun gets connected, bad. Now let's see what happens when Sun gets connected with the 9th house. Excellent position. It's actually a very good position because your father gets all the benefits because of Sun, because of the placement of Sun. So the Sun, the SON Sun, gets benefit because of his father too. So it's a vice versa relation, right? Again, if you have Sun getting connected with the 9th house, the father is a very strong personality, very, very strong person, very authoritative, but very caring at the same time, right? Also, the person is very religious when you have Sun getting connected with the 9th house. So these are some good combinations, right? Now comes the best Raj Yoga in the placement of Sun, and that is the 10th house. You see, most people who have got Sun getting connected with the 6th house as well as in the 10th house, and not just the 10th house, okay, will always be in a very high position in the government organization. Sun should have a connection with the 6th house and the 10th house to get a government job. A lot of people have this myth by saying the Sun gets connected with the 10th house, you get government job. It is not so. Yes, Sun getting connected with the 10th house is a Raj Yoga. How it's a Raj Yoga? Because you dictate, you command. The other way to look at this, people having connection of Sun with the 10th house, they are very lazy, they will never work. They will just dictate, they will command, they will say get this work done, otherwise I'll fire you. And they will have all the authority to do that. So from that point of view, it's a Raj Yoga. Okay, and yes, they are very good in judging people, they have the knack to read people. So it's a good placement in general. It's a very good placement in general, right? Also, people having Sun getting connected with the 10th house, they will get all forms of benefits with the government. You have to just apply, the government will benefit them. Okay, so if you're a businessman, if you have Sun getting connected with the 10th house, take all kind of government contracts. Even without paying a single bribe, you will get the contract. I've seen this happening. I've literally seen, not in the negative sense. It's not that the government is always corrupt, but in general cases, if at all there is exchange of money that comes for the work that you need to take, such people will not have to worry at all. Everything will be straightforward and it will come to you throughout your life, right? Okay. More so if you are a Scorpio ascendant. See, for Scorpio ascendant, the 10th lord becomes Leo. And if Sun is getting connected with Leo for a Scorpio ascendant, excellent benefits from the government. Excellent means excellent. Probably they are number one. No other ascendant can get the benefit. But for Leo, Scorpio ascendant, they get all kind of benefits, right? Now let's see what happens when Sun gets connected with the 11th house. See, I always keep saying 11th house is a very good house. Any planet in the 11th house has to give its result, right? In this case, you get all the benefits that you can expect from the government, because 11th house is also the fulfillment of desire, right? Uh, the only exception which I have come across through my experience is for Leo ascendant, Libra ascendant. See, for Libra ascendant, Leo sign becomes the Badak Sthan and Sun becomes the Badakesh. Normally, when Sun gets connected with Leo sign for a Libra ascendant, it can bring an end to their lifespan. Of course, other areas have to be analyzed. But in general, Sun may not do great for a Libra ascendant, right? Some people would say Sun turns debilitated in Libra. That is the reason it doesn't give reason. It's not that's not the reason alone, because the debilitation point has to be on the first pada of Swati Nakshatra. Okay, so the whole sign is not bad. It's only that pada is bad, right? So only for Libra ascendant, Leo sign and Sun in the 11th house, that creates a problem, right? Now the last combination, Sun getting connected with the 12th house. See, this is again a very bad placement. As I said, for 8th house, also for 12th house. In fact, I missed a point in 8th house. See, if Sun gets connected with the 8th house or the 12th house, if you take both, I've seen early death of father in the natal chart. The native is likely to lose their father at a very young age. Okay, so this is a very bad placement, very, very bad placement actually. You have only troubles coming from the government. If you're into government contract, trust me, the government will only trouble you. The authorities in the government will only trouble you. I had a case where a person was doing a government contract related work. He was never satisfied with his job. He had too many failures to deal with. So these are some very big problems what happens when Sun gets connected with the 12th house. Also, I've seen people visiting hospitals more often. See, 12th house stands for hospital, Sun stands for medicine. So if there is a connection of 12th house and Sun, they visit hospital either for self or somebody in the family. So it's again not a very good placement that happens when Sun gets connected with the 12th house, right? So this was the gist, or rather this was a small set of information that I could give with regard to Sun and the placement or the connection of Sun with the respective houses, right? I'll be coming out with more videos in the series of planet. Okay, I hope the audience did like this video. So I would request you to leave your comments, leave your feedback in case if anything that I explained is coming in tandem with whatever you have experienced in your natal chart. Okay, and also kindly subscribe my channel, because of late I've seen a lot of attraction happening. This certainly gives me a boost in my confidence, right? Again, if you have or rather if you're interested for a personal consultation, you have my number in the description box. You can go through that. You can WhatsApp me for an appointment and we can take it ahead from there, right? So that's all for the day. I would be signing off right now. This is Astro Girish here. Thank you.